The Patriots schedule is out. We break it all down here on PatsCast.
New year, new tone, it's a rebel regime. PatsCast rolling with a whole new team. Drake May stepping in with that year two glow.
Welcome to PatsCast. I'm Brad Whitaker. Good to be with you. The NFL schedule is officially out, or it will be out in 3 minutes as of this recording, but the Patriots schedule has already been leaked, so I'm going to get through this as quickly as I can and then watch the Celtics try to salvage their season. But I'm going to go through this in real time. You know, I did a little prediction podcast a couple of weeks ago where I had the Patriots picking up 10 wins. Now we have the full schedule. We know when the Patriots are going to be home, when they're going to be on the road, when they're going to South Florida, what time of the year that's happening. And that's all going to weigh into what their final record will be. So again, I'm doing this in real time. Haven't gone through this yet. So we'll go through the whole schedule, but at first glance, the biggest thing that stands out is the Patriots have 3 primetime games this year. You know, we're not in the old days where they had, 6 to 8 primetime games with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, but last year they only had 1, and that was Thursday Night Football, which really doesn't count because I believe every team gets at least one Thursday Night Football game. Patriots, of course, have a Thursday night game, but they're back on Sunday night and Monday night once again, so they are no longer being ignored by the national football media. But let's get to week 1. Again, doing this in real time, you're going to hear me think out loud a little bit as I go through their schedule, and that starts with the Las Vegas Raiders at home against the Patriots. I got to say right off the bat, this is the toughest matchup to pick, right? And the fact that it's happening week 1 makes it even more challenging. Both of these teams have major question marks heading into the season because there's been a ton of turnover in both organizations. Both have new head coaches. Patriots, obviously, with Mike Vrabel. Pete Carroll is there in Las Vegas. They added Geno Smith as their quarterback. Geno Smith went to Foxborough in September, week 2 of last year, and absolutely torched the Patriots. He's a more than competent quarterback. Wouldn't call him top 10, but he's close to top 15, at least top 20. I do really like Geno Smith, which is hilarious because I despise the guy when he was with the Jets and never saw anything in his play, and now he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. But another factor that's going to play into this game, Patriots drafted Will Campbell at 3rd overall. Well, Las Vegas Raiders, a couple of picks later, drafted Ashton Genty. There were a lot of Patriots fans hoping that Ashton Genty would be the selection over Will Campbell. Well, they're going up against Genty in this game. So, presumably if you're going to draft a running back that early, they're going to be impactful right away. So I would expect Ashton Genty to be very impactful, which is not going to help the Will Campbell narrative because it's probably going to take him some time to enter the prime of his career, obviously, because he's a rookie, where running backs essentially are in the prime of their career when they enter the league. So that's going to be an interesting conversation with this game. It's basically a coin flip, in my opinion, but when you compare the new head coaches, the new quarterback for Las Vegas, whereas the Patriots don't have a new quarterback. They have a new offensive coordinator, but Josh McDaniels is familiar. The Raiders have to fly across the country to New England to play in week 1. I'm going to give the Patriots a very slight edge in this game. So putting my win-loss columns here, marking a tally down for a win. Let's call it 38-36. The Patriots barely squeak by. Andres Borregales hits a game-winning field goal sometime in the final minute, and Geno fails on a Hail Mary attempt. I'm not going to do this for every game, by the way, but that's just week 1. So the Patriots 1-0 so far. Then they have to go on the road to South Florida week 2 against the Miami Dolphins, and I don't care how bad Miami is. I don't care how good the Patriots are. They could have prime Tom Brady, prime Bill Belichick. They still struggled in Miami, particularly early in the season when it's high 90s, low 100s, 100% humidity, hurricane season in South Florida. Brady had a losing record in that stadium. Unless the Patriots historically prove that they can win down in Miami in the coming seasons, I'm always going to pick against them in this game, regardless of how good the Patriots are and how bad the Dolphins are. And I do think Patriots have a better roster at this point in time. I think the Patriots are the better team, and they should be looking at least second in the AFC East at this point. I think they're better than the Miami Dolphins. That doesn't mean they're going to go down week 2 in that environment and win a football game. I just don't see it happening. So chalk that up to a loss. Patriots are now 1-1 through the first 2 weeks of the season. Then they have a home game again. Their next two games are actually at home. Pittsburgh Steelers are visiting the Patriots week 3. Really love this matchup, particularly this time of year. It's enough that the Patriots will have 2 weeks of film on Mike Tomlin, but not enough that Mike Tomlin is going to have enough film on Mike Vrabel and the Patriots so that they're predictable that game. And the thing with the Steelers is they always play to the level of their competition. Playing the Chiefs, it's a close game. They're playing the worst team in the NFL. It's still a close game. But historically, Pittsburgh has really struggled in New England. In fact, I don't even think Mike Tomlin has won a game in Gillette Stadium at this point. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's hard to remember the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers went into Gillette Stadium and won a football game. And Mike Tomlin certainly has struggled in that environment. He was always outcoached by Bill Belichick, and Mike Vrabel's a high IQ guy. I think he's going to have the edge there, especially because the Patriots are at home. I would assume Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback for the Steelers. Still hasn't signed yet. If it's not him, it's going to be Will Howard, who, was a mid-tier, mid-round quarterback, national champion, good quarterback, has Drake May-like traits, but it's going to take him some time to develop. Whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Howard, Mike Tomlin, that Steelers team, which is kind of in a rebuild, they're still kind of in limbo. The Steelers are really just a mid-500 level team. Give the Patriots the edge in this game. They are now 2-1. And then the following week, the Carolina Panthers are coming to town. Really like what Carolina's doing. I think Bryce Young had a pretty good bounce-back year. Like the weapons that they added at receiver the last couple of years in the draft. Carolina's looking pretty good, but they still have a long way to go to get to the point where they're real contenders in the NFC South. I don't think a lot of people are picking the Panthers in the NFC South, which really is a division up for grabs. So I do see the Patriots coming away with a victory here pretty easily against Carolina in week 4, just because, they have a young coach, they have a young quarterback, they have some weapons. I think they've been able to protect Bryce Young a little bit better last year, but do you really see the Panthers going into New England? I mean, it was always tough when Cam Newton was there. The last time the Panthers were at Gillette, Cam Newton won in the last few minutes of the game. It was a really clutch performance there by Newton and in a close-fought matchup, but with this current Panthers team, I just don't see them going to New England. They're still arguably the worst team in the NFC South, so let's chalk this up to a win. The Patriots, I have them at 3-1 through the first 4 weeks of the season. And who knows? Maybe this is one of the years they go down to Miami and steal a game. They are definitely regressing there, and the Patriots are on the upward trajectory. They have the potential to start 4-0 here. Now, again, the Las Vegas Raiders, that's not a gimme. That's a coin flip in my opinion. I give the Patriots a slight edge over the Steelers and a pretty big edge over the Panthers. They could very well be 1-3, as we've seen the last few years in New England. So that's just where I'm at right now. Patriots 3-1, defeating the Raiders barely week 1, losing on the road to the Dolphins, and then winning at home against the Steelers and the Panthers in the first quarter of the season. Then they have their first primetime football game, Sunday Night Football on the road against the Buffalo Bills. Good to see the Patriots playing the Bills early in the season. Finally, it seems like the Bills were at the tail end of the schedule like each of the last 3 years. They're going on the road early on, playing in primetime. Stephon Diggs, revenge match. I think the Patriots can be competitive in this game. They were competitive last year with Gerard Mayo as their head coach, with that team faltering. And of course, they beat the Bills in the garbage game in Week 18 with Joe Milton, but I don't really count that. So I think they're going to be competitive. It might be a close game, but you got to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots just aren't quite there yet, and maybe in another year they can contend in the AFC East. Maybe the Bills take a step back this year, and it's closer than we think, but as of right now, Patriots have another step to go before they're going to beat the Bills on the road in a primetime matchup, especially early in the season while they're still building chemistry. Next up, we have Week 5 at the New Orleans Saints. Probably going to be traveling to this game myself, so you want to meet me, I'll be at the Hyatt, 2 words, pool bar. But this should be an easy win for the Patriots. New Orleans really is in a full-on rebuild right now. Derek Carr recently retired. They have Spencer Rattler there. Presumably, he's their number one, but they did draft Tyler Shuck in the second round. So if you're taking a second-round quarterback, they're probably going to compete, and the winner will win. But I know New Orleans is a tough place to play, but I see this basically as a tank year for them. And look, Patriots fans travel. Saints usually have a tremendous home field advantage, but in a rebuilding year where the Patriots have some real buzz again to them, they're going to fill a lot of Patriots fans in that Caesar Superdome. So I'm going to give the Patriots a fairly easy victory here to improve to a 4-2 record through week 6 of the season. Then they have to go on the road again to the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel revenge game. Patriots are going to win this game by 40 points, in my opinion. Mike Vrabel going back there, broken bridges, ended things on bad terms with the GM. Titans fans seem to be upset that Vrabel left. They don't, if you're a Titans fan watching this and you're glad Vrabel left, please let me know. But from everything that I've heard, they're upset that Vrabel's gone. And he was in a tough situation there. No real quarterback, which he has now in Drake May. Was stuck with Ryan Tannehill. Had one good running back, but really subpar players for the most part. Had some good players on defense. Harold Landry, who's now in the Patriots. But, yeah, I think Josh McDaniels is going to put everything in his toolkit for week 1 against the Raiders, and Mike Vrabel is going to pull everything out of his tool bag for week number 6. Or week number 7 against the Tennessee Titans, and the Patriots will improve to a 5-2 record. No way I see them losing this game. And look, Cam Ward could be a really good quarterback. I've seen some rookie minicamp highlights, and he looks pretty good with, nobody trying to tackle him, but he would have been the 4th to the 7th best quarterback in last year's draft. So New England had one of the best off seasons. Tennessee was Patriots went to overtime with them last year with a far inferior team to what they have this year. I think this should be a pretty easy win. Next week, Patriots are back at home, and they're facing the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, we know the weird quarterback situation that they have. I would expect Joe Flacco to probably be the starting quarterback, but, they have Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders competing for the backup job. Kenny Pickett's still around. They definitely have a pass rush, but I just don't see them moving the ball very much offensively against the Patriots 8 weeks into the season after they've been able to build some chemistry, assuming there's no major injuries to that defensive line. They're not going to be able to run the ball as effectively as they would like. They're not going to be able to throw the ball. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game and maybe a tight one, but I'll give the Patriots ultimately the edge to improve to a 6-2 record. I sound crazy saying this. Am I crazy having the Patriots at 6-2 right now through 8 weeks of the season? Because they're going to be in Super Bowl contention buzz if that's what happens. But the truth is, I don't see the Patriots as Super Bowl contenders. I see them as legitimate playoff contenders, but they also have a very easy schedule here. So that's why they're 6-2 through the first 8 weeks of the season. Then this next game is close to a coin flip. You have the Atlanta Falcons coming to Gillette Stadium. We know they have some weapons. Michael Penix looking to make a leap in year 2. They have a projected win total of 7.5 games, which is actually 2 less than they had last year. I would probably give the Falcons the advantage here if they were headed to if they were at home, not heading to Foxborough. But I just think with the improvements that this Patriots team has made, I'm not really buying the Atlanta Falcons right now. Maybe they're probably the second best team in the NFC South, maybe third if the Carolina Panthers. I guess the Saints are the worst team, right? So Panthers are probably better than the Saints. I was wrong. I misspoke earlier. Maybe it's Carolina and Atlanta competing for the second spot, and then, of course, Tampa's the best team. But that NFC South is wide open, and I just don't see them going into Foxborough and winning this game. Falcons have really struggled visiting the Patriots, so I'm going to give them another win here, improving the Patriots to a 7-2 record heading into Week 10 of the NFL season. All right, so this next matchup, all right, now we can start handing out some losses. We're at 7-2 right now through the first 9 weeks. Patriots have to go on the road to Tampa Bay. Now, that game is on November 9th, so not going to be facing the Florida Heat that they will week 2 heading down to South Florida in Miami. Patriots, I think, can be competitive in this one, but, I mean, Tampa just has so many weapons. They have a solid offensive line. Baker Mayfield is a good, not great quarterback, but very good. And they got some real players on defense, too. Going into that environment, I think Tampa should easily win the NFC South this year, even though I said earlier that it was a wide-open division. This is going to be a tough one for the Patriots to go down and win, so I'm going to chalk it up to a loss, so they will have a 7-3 record after this game. Also, you can find me at the Holiday Inn in Tampa that week. Then the Patriots have their first and only Thursday night football game back at home against the New York Jets. Hard to know what Aaron Glenn is going to do with New York. I really like Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a culture builder there. I think he's the kind of recipe that the New York Jets need to turn that organization around. But ultimately, I just have no trust in the Jets organization. Their offensive line, they have some players there, but could use some help. They're trying to make it work with Justin Fields this year. You know, he did go into Foxborough on Monday Night Football a few years ago and absolutely torched the Patriots. Probably the best game of Justin Fields' career. But I know the Patriots, they lost the Jets last year. They were on the road on Thursday Night Football, but I think they're going to be at home this game, prime time. I think the Jets, maybe Aaron Glenn will start to turn it around, but they're probably in at least a 2-year rebuild, even if everything works out well for them. We'll give the Patriots another victory here to improve to an 8-3 record through Week 11. Then they got to go on the road to Cincinnati, and the hope that us Patriots fans all had was it would be a repeat of last year. The Patriots would face the Bengals Week 1 or one of the first weeks of the season. It always takes the Bengals at least a month or 6 weeks to get going. Well, unfortunately, the Patriots are going to be facing them on November 23rd. So it's going to be prime time, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They're not going to win that game. It's not going to be last year where Gerard Mayo surprises them because the Bengals aren't prepared. They have no film on the Patriots. They're going to have plenty of film. I think the Bengals are really pissed off after last season because they started off so poorly. And at the end of the year, they were one of the best teams, arguably the best team in the NFL or in the AFC at that point. But they had just lost so many games that they missed out on the playoffs. I think there's going to be a fire in that Bengals organization this year after what's happened in recent history. I have them losing this game and dropping to 8-4. Then they're back on prime time the following week, Monday Night Football, so they get 8 days between the Bengals game and the Giants game. The New York Giants will be coming to town, to Foxborough. A lot of people are really optimistic about Jackson Dart, and I've seen some metrics that show he's going to be a really good NFL quarterback. But in my opinion, they drafted a carbon copy of Daniel Jones. They probably should have taken Shadur Sanders. I know why they didn't. I don't think the Patriots are going to lose this game to the Giants. I think this is another garbage year for the New York Giants. I think Brian Daboll is going to be looking for an offensive coordinator job next year, and the Patriots will improve to 9-4 and really be looking at a playoff spot. That might be it. They may be. It's, now that you have 7 teams making the postseason, that threshold is really no longer 10 games. It's 9 games, unless the conference is really good. But I think the AFC, especially if the Chiefs take a step back, which I think they probably will, AFC is wide open in a lot of ways. Yeah, 9-4, that could be enough for them to get into the playoffs at that point. I'm not saying they would clinch at that point, but that might be enough. And then they get a bye week. So the Patriots get some much-needed rest after the Monday Night Football game. It's a rough time to have a bye the week of December 7th, very late in the year, but you'd rather have it be late in the year than early in the year. And if they're 9-4, as I have them at, they're going to need that because they have a much tougher stretch the final 4 games of the season. So that starts with the Buffalo Bills visiting the Patriots. For all the reasons I mentioned on the road, I think the Patriots will be competitive in this game since they are at home, but I'm not going to pick against the Bills, who they really get one or two more shots at a Super Bowl, in my opinion. I thought the door had actually closed on the Bills last year after they got rid of Stephon Diggs, but I really like what they did with the offensive line and having Josh Allen really spread the football around. But 2 to 3 more years, Buffalo's going to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I'm not going to pick the Patriots against the Bills, at least this season. Maybe they'll steal 1 or 2, but in all likelihood, probably not. So the Patriots, 9-5 at this point with 3 games left. Then they have to go on the road to Baltimore. Yeah, for the same reasons, I'm going to chalk that up as a loss. Last time the Patriots were in Baltimore, they were undefeated. 2019, Brady's last year, I think they were 8-0 or 9-0 or 7-0, but they had a very easy schedule. Everyone was saying the Patriots are the best team in the league. Then they came back down to earth. I think this might be a comeback down to earth game. They're going to keep it close against Buffalo the week before and ultimately lose. And then reality is going to set in. They're going to have to go on the road to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, they're not going to be able to contain him as much as they would like. And the Patriots, this is really the only blowout loss I see them taking, December 21st against the Baltimore Ravens. So now they're at 9-6. 9-6 with 2 games left. What happens now? Well, now they go on the road to the New York Jets, which is, it's good to see. I feel like the Patriots haven't had a road game in New York in cold weather in many years. For some reason, they always play the Jets twice early in the schedule and you never see them again, or the Jets have a home game at the end of the year, but they always seem to be playing in New York early on, finally going end of the year here. Again, I think Aaron Glenn was the right hire for the Jets, but I think they're in a longer-term rebuild than the Patriots. Even though they'll be at home, I'm giving the Patriots their 10th victory to improve to 10-6 heading into the final week of the season. And that should be enough to get them into the playoffs. Patriots clinch Week 17 with 1 week left. That last game, of course, is the Miami Dolphins coming to Gillette. Ideal time to face Miami. The one silver lining about having to go to Miami early in the year is it raises the probability that Miami has to come to New England late in the year, and the Patriots are lucky enough to get the Dolphins in early January here. And for that reason alone, I'm giving them the victory to improve to 11-6. Patriots winning 11 games. And I just did that in real time. I didn't know what the result was going to be. Last time I had them at 10. But there are some favorable matchups here. You know, I am glad they're getting the Raiders early before they can build some chemistry there. Don't love them going to Miami early in the season for obvious reasons. But that's really the only one that worries me. They get New Orleans, Tennessee, and Cleveland. Some rebuilding teams fairly early in the schedule. Pittsburgh early in the season. I'd rather have them early than late. Carolina early. They got a tough stretch there against Buffalo at home and then going on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. That's really the only tough stretch I see happening. So Patriots got very lucky with a favorable schedule. We knew they had a weak strength of schedule to begin with. And that's ultimately why I have them winning 11 games. And I think that will be enough. That will be more than enough to get into the playoffs. And certainly I think will be enough for them to finish second in the AFC East. If you look at the future 2026 Patriots opponents, it gets much tougher. And that's before you even factor in the division winners and the division runner-ups. If the Patriots finish second in the AFC East, well, they're going to be facing the second best team in each of the AFC divisions and the second best team in the NFC division that they'll be facing in 2026. It's very possible the Patriots have a better record this season than they do in 2026, despite being a better team in 2026, just because of the strength of schedule. Real opportunity here for Mike Vrabel and the Patriots to get this thing going right off the bat. And, 3-1, 4-1 start, or what do I have? I have them starting 6-2, 7-2, 8-2. I mean, plenty of opportunity here to really build a lead early in the season in the AFC East, because if you look at the Buffalo Bills, and again, I don't think the Patriots are going to win the division, they have to face Baltimore, They have to face Kansas City, Tampa, Houston, Cincinnati. They have to face the Eagles late in the season. Bills have a much tougher schedule. I could see the Patriots being the top team in the AFC East through October, which is pretty wild. But that has entirely to do with their schedule and what the Buffalo Bills have to deal with. But hey, let me know in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with my 11-6 record? Which games have I overlooked? Which teams have I overlooked? What do you see the Patriots doing this season? What's their final record? Curious to hear from you. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, or subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'll be back very soon with more New England Patriots coverage.
New year, new tone, it's a rebel regime. PatsCast rolling with a whole new team. Drake May stepping in with that year 2 glow. Diggs on the edge and the offense flow. Week 1, Raiders, that's a dub. Then down to Miami, catch the loss, no shrug. Steelers come next, take them down with pride. Then the Panthers, smooth cruise, clean ride. It's the Rebel Era PatsCast in the fight. May's got fire, Diggs takes flight. Stacking up wins, got the league on edge. From Foxborough turf to the road we play. Buffalo, nah, that is a fall. But Saints and Titans, we answer the call. Beat the Browns, then the Falcons too. Defense clamping, just what they do. Bucks away, that slips through. Then the Jets came home and we break on through. Cincy in the cold, the L might sting, but bounce back strong. Giants in the ring. Buffalo again, still a tough hill. Ravens hit hard, but we'll climb that still. Finish strong, back in the east. Jets and Finns, that winter feast. It's the Rebel